Hello, you're watching the Mechanical Rookies.
This is part 2 of the engine bay restoration. Today we're going to be doing the paint, and we are going to be replacing the rocker cover for a shiny chrome one. So Alex is adding a bit of bling to the Mini. So let's see how we get on with it.
For our painting process, we're going to be using some high temperature red paint, some gloss black, and some aluminium paint. So this is for the actual engine block itself, and this is from Halfords. This was recommended on many of the Mini forums, as well as the gloss black. Now, they didn't have any aluminium paint from the Halfords, but I managed to get some ones by CarPlan. And then we've got some newspaper, just so you can put it around all the parts you don't want to get paint on, as well as masking tape, an assortment of brushes. Okay, so I've just papered up and masked off the majority of areas I'm going to be working in. So I've just left this area available. I haven't gone into too much detail in masking it up because I'm not using spray paints. It's not going to go everywhere. So I've just done it so I have enough control of what I'm going over. As well, just make sure you're wearing old clothes and things like that, because you don't want to get paint on them. So we're going to start with a 1/2" brush. We're just going to brush up this area using some of our new red paint. Start at So this is just lightly coating it. Probably going to have to do about 4 or 5 coats, so it's thick enough. I'm going to mask this area up because I'm going to paint that with the silver paint. So I'm just going to mask it up so when I go into detailing it, it doesn't get damaged. To mention, I've disconnected the HT leads, as you can see. Make sure you number them. They were already numbered on mine, so make sure you number them so you know which one to put them back in. Otherwise you're going to have a mess up when you try and turn your car on later. When you're painting using a large brush, make sure you stay well away from the edges. We use our smaller detailing brush when we want to get into the cracks. So we want to stay away from these areas where we're close to edges. get better access down there, as well as taking out the alternator later, I'm going to take out the grill so I can get right under there. It's just a bit easier than having to go up there or right down there. So this just has a few screws either side and along the top. It just lifts out. I'm going to move to the next area of painting. I've just finished painting the whole of the engine block in the red, moving around, putting the paper and taping it up as I go. Sometimes I don't get any paint on where I don't want it to go. So I've just finished the first coat of that, and now I'm going to move on to this area here. As you can see, this is just going to got loads of scrapes and scratches down here, and I'm going to repaint that in the gloss black. Now I'm going to first use some sandpaper. I'll be using some quite rough sandpaper, 120 the grit. And I'm just going to rough up the surface to make it nice and smooth, and we're going to paint it after. Right, I've masked all the area up, just so that means I know that nothing's going to get dripped on by the paint. And I'm just going to begin painting and touching up this area. Just finished painting up here, and I've also painted up there using the aluminium paint. I'm going to touch them up later, but that's fine for now. I'm now going to move on to the rocker cover. I've gone for an OE spec rocker cover in chrome because I think it looks much nicer than the original black. I've also got included was a cork gasket and the T-bars for installing it. I got it for about £45, and yeah, it's going to look great, I think. To replace the rocker cover, first need to get rid of the air filter. Move that out of the way. Just 2 screws at the top. All we have to do is just shift it back a bit. No need to properly disconnect it. Move this heater connector out of the way a bit. And undo these securing bolts at the top of each side. So these just come off the top, and we've got some new washers to go along with it. So this just lifts off very carefully because it's going to be very oily. So again, just make sure you're wearing dirty clothes. And here you can see the old cork gasket, which we're just going to lift off. careful if it's splitting because it's just split. Another piece. Let's just use this to lift it. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to clean the surface where it joins to a bit of old rag. Just so it makes a nice tight seal. Right, so we've got some grey silicone sealant, which we're going to use to seal the edge from this side of the gasket to the rocker cover, and then on the underside of the gasket to the actual engine block itself. So we're going to begin by piping along the edge of here, and then we're going to firmly place that on top. I've now piped along the underside of the gasket, making sure there's a thorough mount to get a tight seal. So now that it's centred, I'm just going to wind these in. Okay, so I've just made sure the rock cover's firmly on. I turned the car on, checked for any leaks, anything like that, and it looks all okay. And this is our finished job. So I've done a few more coats on the paint on the engine block, so it's all nice and cleaned out. Look, I mean, you compare it to before, it's amazing, really. So all up here, down there, also done around there as well. I've painted this with the aluminium paint. I've also retouched this, so it's now all black, and obviously finally the rocker cover. So there's a few little additions I might make. For example, there was the, this is the old rocker cover. You have this mini paper sticker, so I might buy another one of those to put on right there to make it look original. Yeah, and there's a few little bits and pieces I might replace. But yeah, this is pretty much the main bit of it. It's the actual engine itself. And I have to say it looks fantastic. I'm really pleased with it.